Most self-help books tell you to think positive, chase happiness, and believe you can achieve anything if you just try hard enough. But Mark Manson takes a very different approach. In his 2016 bestseller, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F, a counterintuitive approach to living a good life, Manson argues that life is limited, problems are inevitable, and happiness doesn't come from avoiding pain or chasing constant positivity. Instead, it comes from learning to care less about trivial things and focusing your limited energy on what truly matters. This book became a global phenomenon because it's brutally honest, funny, and deeply practical. It strips away the fluff of traditional self-help and asks you to embrace responsibility, limits, and values. Welcome to 10-Minute Books, the channel where we break down the world's most powerful books into practical lessons you can absorb in just 10 minutes. Today, we're exploring The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F by Mark Manson, a no-nonsense guide to focusing on what truly matters and living a more meaningful life. The core idea: you have limited Fs to give. Manson's central idea is simple. Your time, energy, and attention are limited. Every day, you only have so many Fs to give. If you waste them on things that don't matter, like social status, petty drama, or impressing strangers, you'll have nothing left for what really matters. The art of not giving a F isn't about being careless or indifferent. It's about carefully choosing what to care about and letting go of everything else. Life is problems. One of Manson's key points is that life will always be filled with problems. No matter how rich, successful, or happy you are, there will always be challenges. The question isn't whether you'll have problems, it's which problems you're willing to have. Instead of chasing a life without problems, Manson suggests finding problems you enjoy solving. A meaningful life comes from working on challenges that align with your values, not from avoiding discomfort. The happiness paradox. Manson argues that obsessing over happiness actually makes people miserable. The more you chase positivity, the more you notice when you're not happy, and that gap creates dissatisfaction. Happiness, he says, is a side effect of solving meaningful problems, not a goal in itself. If you focus on growth, contribution, and relationships, happiness will follow naturally. Responsibility over blame. A powerful idea in the book is the distinction between blame and responsibility. You can't always control what happens to you, trauma, loss, unfairness, but you can always control how you respond. Taking responsibility for your choices and reactions gives you power. Blaming others, on the other hand, leaves you powerless. Manson insists that true freedom comes from accepting responsibility, even for things that aren't your fault. The feedback loop from hell. Manson describes what he calls the feedback loop from hell when people feel bad about feeling bad. For example, you're anxious about being anxious, or guilty about feeling guilty. This spiral of negativity magnifies problems. The solution is to accept negative emotions instead of fighting them. Feeling sad, angry, or insecure is normal. The trick is not to obsess over those feelings, but to let them pass and focus on what you can control. The value of suffering. What determines your life isn't how much you want success, but what pain you're willing to endure. Everyone wants the reward, but few want the struggle. For example, many people want to be fit, but not everyone is willing to endure the workouts and discipline it requires. Manson argues that meaning comes from choosing the struggles worth suffering for. The danger of entitlement. Manson critiques modern entitlement, the belief that you're special, that you deserve happiness, or that life should be easy. He says this attitude makes people fragile and resentful. Instead, he advocates humility. Recognize that you're not special, that your problems aren't unique, and that growth comes from effort, not entitlement. You're going to die. Death is a recurring theme in the book. Manson emphasizes that remembering your mortality clarifies your priorities. When you accept that life is short, you stop wasting energy on meaningless things and focus on what matters: love, purpose, and contribution. Far from depressing, this awareness of death can be liberating. It pushes you to live more intentionally and authentically. Values matter. Manson argues that not all values are equal. Poor values, like being liked by everyone or always being right, lead to frustration and unhappiness. Good values, like honesty, humility, and responsibility, create resilience and fulfillment. Your values determine which problems you're willing to face, and ultimately the quality of your life. Choosing better values means choosing better struggles and in turn building a better life. Saying no. Learning to not give a F means saying no to obligations, to unhealthy relationships, to societal expectations. Each no frees you to say yes to things that align with your values. Manson insists that clarity about what you don't care about is just as important as clarity about what you do care about. Boundaries are an expression of freedom. Without them, your energy is drained by everything and everyone. Case studies and stories. The book is filled with stories from Manson's own reckless youth to lessons drawn from philosophers, soldiers, and artists. One memorable story is about a man named Hiro Onoda, a Japanese soldier who continued fighting World War II for decades after it ended. His misplaced sense of purpose shows how powerful values are, for better or worse. Another story Manson shares is about Charles Bukowski, the writer who built his career on the motto, "Don't try." This doesn't mean give up. It means stop chasing approval and instead lean into authenticity. Bukowski was far from perfect, but he embraced who he was unapologetically. These stories drive home Manson's point. Meaning comes not from avoiding problems, but from choosing the right problems to commit to. Criticism and balance. Some critics argue that Manson oversimplifies or uses too much shock value. Others say his message is just stoicism with swear words. But fans appreciate his honesty, humour, and ability to cut through clichés. Even if his style isn't for everyone, his core message is powerful. Stop wasting energy on trivial things and take responsibility for creating meaning in your life. Modern relevance. In an age of social media, constant comparison, and endless noise, the subtle art of not giving a F feels especially relevant. It's easy to care too much about likes, followers, and the opinions of strangers. Manson's reminder to prioritize what truly matters is a needed antidote. It's also a reminder that saying no is an act of self-care. In a culture that glorifies hustle, people, pleasing, and doing more, Manson's philosophy invites us to do less but better, to pour our energy into fewer, more meaningful pursuits instead of scattering it everywhere. The big takeaway. The subtle art of not giving a F teaches that a meaningful life isn't about chasing happiness or avoiding problems. It's about accepting limits, choosing your struggles, taking responsibility, and living by better values. The question is, are you spending your limited Fs on things that matter, or wasting them on things that don't? That was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F by Mark Manson, broken down in under 20 minutes. Which idea resonates most with you? The value of suffering, the importance of responsibility, or the reminder that you're going to die? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this summary, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to 10-Minute Books, and ring the bell so you never miss our weekly breakdowns of life-changing books. Thanks for watching, and remember, caring less about the unimportant lets you care more about what truly matters.